What's up, Marv Meisters?
How's it going?
It's one hell of a day so far, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Boy, information coming out like crazy.
Yeah, that's why you had to call me and we set this
I
up
was
real
like,
quick.
I was like, boy, I got to call Marv on this one. So, how's everybody doing out there in Marv Meister land? Let's see, who all we got in here?
Olivia 2. Jacqueline's here. Hello, Randy. How are you? Rose. I43 Pammy. Hello. D is here.
There's my buddy Purdue.
Purdue's here. It's kind of different not having all these screens, so just bear with me today. Indy Pam's here. How are you? Rescue all the dogs. Vanessa Marie. Mike says, I'm here, but can only hear. I'm working and driving. Okay, so be careful, Mike. Hello, Pam. How are you?
Miss Pam is married now, guys.
Yes. Congratulations.
Miss Pam Hurst Pryor. Congratulations.
Melissa, how are you? Jill, good to see you. Angela, how are you? Let's see here. Susie's here. Jamie Hicks is here. My Charlie. Polygraph. Nice to see ya. Yvette is here. Julie, nice to see you. Copper Harris, good evening. Trust and Justice. Digital's here. Hey, Ruckus, how's it going?
There's my homegirl, Indy Pam.
Yup. Stories from the Stone. So nice to see ya. Mama T. Railroad Joe.
Well, we got some new names in here today, don't we?
Ooh. Honeybee's with us.
Melissa. Anthony Greeno.
Lakeside Justice is here. Outback, nice to see ya. Hybrid. What's up, everyone?
Support with Steffa.
Yes. Nice to see y'all.
Look at Raggedy Susan. Yeah.
Jessica Robin Riley, nice to see you. Time Wave Hero. Allegedly, the professor is watching. Awesome. Phil Bond, nice to see you. Julianne, nice to see you.
Got JoJo.
Yeah. Am I missing anyone here at the end?
Bebop.
Bebop, nice to see you.
Miss Deb with the True Crime Notebook. She's down in Florida enjoying the weather.
Steven, nice.
Got Hybrid Pisces.
Stacy, nice to see you, girl. And I think that is everyone so far. So, Frank, what's happening today?
Well, one of our researchers got in contact with me today, and she sent me something, and I was like, whoa. So I went to my case and pulled it up, and I was like, oh, my goodness. So I immediately called the clerk at the Miami County Court Marianne, I believe her name is. I've talked to her quite a few times. She recognized who it was immediately when I gave her her name, and she said, and I said, I need those documents for Kegan Kline's whatever he's doing today. And she said, I'm sending them to you right now. And she already had our email and everything. And I was like, I didn't have to give her nothing.
Good.
And so that's where we're at. And I want to applaud True Crime News because he just contacted me. And I don't think anybody's discussed this yet, but also the judge has already ruled on the matter and we've got the document for it.
Wow.
Yes. So here in a few minutes, we're going to pull up Ruckus and True Crime News so we can go over this stuff, guys.
I think Ruckus said that he had a previous engagement that he had to take care of.
Okay.
He's listening, but he can't come up.
Okay. Well, True Crime News, there's a StreamYard.
So this is a little different. I'm going to present.
Hold on, Anthony.
All right, tell me if you can see it because I lose the stream when I pull it up this way.
You need to enlarge it if you can. Let me put my glasses on so I'll be able to read that.
Tell me when. That should be good, right?
But the glasses are dirty. Sheesh.
So basically, we have State of Indiana, County of Miami, State of Indiana versus Kegan Kline, the Miami Circuit Court. This is cause number 52C01-2008-F4-00254. Motion to lift pretrial conference and jury trial and schedule for a change of plea hearing. It says comes now. The defendant Kegan Kline by counsel Andrew A. Akey and respectfully requests that the court lift the pretrial conference scheduled on March 30th, 2023 at 10 a.m. and the jury trial scheduled on May 10th, 2023 at 8 a.m., May 11th, 2023 at 8 a.m., May 12th, 2023 at 8 a.m., May 15th, 2023 at 8 a.m., May 16th, 2023 at 8 a.m., May 17th, 2023 at 8 a.m., May 18th, 2023 at 8 a.m., and May 19th, 2023 at 8 a.m. And schedule this matter for a change of plea hearing. In support of said motion, defendant states as follows. This matter is currently set for pretrial conference on March 30th, 2023 at 10 a.m. and a jury trial on May 10th at 2023 at 8 a.m. I'm not going to read all these dates again. So number 2, that the parties have negotiated a proposed resolution in the cause of action. Number 3, that prosecutor Courtney B. Elwine has been notified of this motion to continue, and she has no objection to this motion to continue. Number 4, that this motion to lift the pretrial conference and jury trial and schedule for a change of plea hearing is not being made to unnecessarily delay the proceedings. And 5, that any delay resulting from this motion to lift the pretrial conference and jury trial and schedule for a change of plea hearing shall be attributable to the defendant for purposes of Indiana Rule of Criminal Procedure 4.
Want to say hello to the True Crime Mobs in the chat, guys. Chris from True Crime Mobs in.
Hello, everyone. Wherefore, counsel for the defendant respectfully requests that this court issue an order lifting the pretrial conference scheduled March 30th and the jury trial scheduled May 10th and all these other dates, and scheduled this matter for change of plea and for all other just and proper relief in premises. Then you have your signatures on that page.
And here is the response from the prosecutor.
Okay, response to defendant, motion to lift pretrial conference. Comes now the state of Indiana by Courtney B. Allwine, deputy prosecuting attorney, and respectfully notifies the court that the parties have not negotiated a proposed resolution in this cause of action. Any plea of guilty would be without a plea agreement from the state, and the sentence would be determined entirely at this court's discretion. Further, the state does not object to setting this matter for a change of plea hearing. However, the state would respectfully request the court convert the March 30th, 2023 hearing already scheduled rather than continue this matter any further. The state would additionally request the court not vacate the jury trial until any plea of guilty is entered. So this document is stating that there is not a plea agreement at this time.
And they're not vacating the hearings at all until some type of plea has been entered into the courts.
Correct.
That doesn't mean he's going to plead guilty. We don't know that. We don't know if he's going to plead no contest, which is basically saying I'm guilty, but he's not going to admit to it. And he's going to just take the punishment that they're going to issue to him.
Right.
True Crime News, I put the StreamYard link in the chat if you want to hop on in here and give us your thoughts.
Yep, and then we have one more document here.
Yeah, that's the one True Crime News just sent to me not even 15 minutes ago. He actually contacted Kegan Kline's attorney, and he sent over to True Crime News the actual order from the judge that's been granted.
Yep. So it's the order comes now to the defendant Kegan A. Kline by counsel of Andrew A. Akey and files the defendant's motion to lift pretrial conference and jury trial and schedule for a change of plea hearing on March 20th, 2023. Comes now also the state of Indiana by Courtney B. Elwine, deputy prosecuting attorney, and files on the same date the state's response to defendant's motion to lift pretrial conference and jury trial and schedule for a change of plea hearing. And now the court, being duly advised in the premises, orders as follows. 1, the pretrial hearing that heretofore has been scheduled to take place on Thursday, March 30th, 2023 at 10 a.m. hereby is converted to a change of plea hearing. Said hearing shall take place on an in-person basis. The court declines to lift the jury trial at this point. However, the court will entertain a renewed request for the same at the conclusion of the change of plea hearing if circumstances then warrant the making of such a request. So ordered this 20th day of March by Timothy P. Spar, Judge, Miami Circuit Court.
And everybody was asking me if he pleads guilty, and I went over this about 6 months ago. If he pleads guilty, it doesn't mean he's going to get the max. What I did is I went through every charge and broke them down to what the sentencing would be for every charge. And the minimum amount of time that he could serve is 25 years. The prosecutor can recommend 75 years, and if they don't go for that, the judge can sentence him to the max to over 100 years. So, in my opinion,
consecutively.
Yes. My opinion is that Kegan did the smart thing here, knowing if he took it to jury trial, they can max him out. So he's looking. You see what I'm saying?
So he's under a plea agreement. So they got some sort of deal in the works.
Yes, there's no doubt.
Sounds like it, but there's right now they're stating there is no plea agreement in those papers that we just read. But behind the scenes they're working on one.
I actually asked Andrew Aki is how you say his last name, Aki.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Aki as well when I first talked to him. He corrected me. So I actually contacted him, asking him about the reason for the change of plea hearing. Why is the change of plea? Is it because you have negotiated something with the state? That is what I'm looking for, some sort of response, hopefully today. Hopefully I get it. I don't know. I'm going to keep checking my email. But yeah, we did get that document, the court order, saying that they had approved it and set that hearing for the 30th. So they basically just switched up that court hearing on the 30th.
So 10 days away.
Yeah.
10 days away, and he's going to go in there and plead guilty, and he's probably going to have a plea agreement. I asked when that document would be made public, so hopefully we get some sort of response. He'll probably say the day that it happens, is my guess.
Yeah, just like today, they released everything so quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's your take on him being involved with Delphi?
My take on it? Okay, so I just posted a video about that. I don't see how it could not be tied to Delphi. I just don't see how he couldn't. There's such a big deal that was made about him in December of 2021. They came out at 10 o'clock at night on YouTube, of all places, the police did, to make a release, and it's like updating the Delphi murders. And it's like, okay, on YouTube, usually they email you a piece of paper first in your email saying, hey, we're going to say something about this. And then they kind of, set up some sort of press conference and say something. But just to make a video and post it on YouTube was like, okay, this is weird. They asked for information about him, but they already knew who he was. They just wanted to see who would call in and say that they've tried to meet him before. Well, once they started doing that, I think everybody in the online community was like, this was like really big news. It was like the biggest twist in the case. It's like, now we're finding out that they were catfished by this guy that should have been arrested right after the murders. Yeah, they should have been arrested like 12 hours.
They weren't.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, we were believing something completely different. So I was like totally blown away at that information when they came out with that. I was like, wow, I was totally wrong on the catfishing thing. I guess I need to apologize to everybody who was right about that. I was totally blowing it off as that's a rumor, leave it alone. Well, it wasn't a rumor. So
and one of the things that got me is and that's what I was going to say. They took all that information and put it right to the Abby and Libby tip line. If they wanted information just on the catfishing, they would have created a different tip line.
Exactly. They made Abby and Libby's tip line they changed the whole phone number. So it's like it told me that whatever that they were on to something at that point. They had something good right there, and they thought we're going to do away with this tip line phone number. And if anybody's going to tip anything in, we're going to tip it into this one, and we're going to start fresh, and we're going to start reviewing these tips based on the tips that come in starting now. That's what I thought. And once they started doing it, it was like so much information came out so fast about, okay, well, dude's in custody. Why wasn't he arrested for 3 years? Right. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, he failed a polygraph test, we're finding out? Is his dad involved? What's up with this guy? I don't see how it law enforcement grills him so hard and is like telling him like, okay, we think that you know who the murderer is, and he denies it, and then he kind of implicates himself, I guess, through other people by telling them that he was there in a red Jeep or something. I don't know what his deal is, man. I don't know. I guess he Googled something that day, a gas station that's kind of by Richard Allen's house. I don't see how it goes from him talking to him the night before, being a sex predator that he is, to saying he's going to meet up with them, to all of a sudden Richard Allen shows up there and does this, unless he's part of this somehow. I think that Kline and him lived near each other. He was in Peru a lot. I seem to think that there's some sort of between one of them.
His wife was from Peru.
Yeah.
And another big giveaway was when they did the river search, and once they completed the river search, 2 weeks later, Richard Allen was being arrested. That was another big giveaway. So a lot of stuff's going to be hitting the fan here soon. I'm pretty sure of it.
I know. So, in that document, someone asked, like that honeybee asked, why would the prosecutor include this statement? There is no plea agreement.
Right.
It's because they're working on one.
Yeah, but why would you go in there and plead guilty without a plea agreement? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, could it be because Daddy's going to testify against him?
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. That now, all that stuff pertains to like the witness list and all that stuff. That pertains to if they go to a jury trial. Those are the people that will be used against them in the jury trial. So if it doesn't go to a jury trial, there will be nobody testifying against him unless it's a victim of one of the cases. For his case.
You think it could have been a ploy on the prosecutor's side to turn them two against each other?
Or in case the deal falls apart?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the prosecution and police sometimes do that to try to get information out of each other, make them feel like, oh, hey, your buddy's telling on you, so you might as well just tell us the truth because he's already told us everything. And then in turn, that makes you go, oh, all right, well, if he told on me, then I might as well just tell on him. I can see them doing that with each other, playing them against each other to see what kind of information they can get. But
Deb says to keep Dad from testifying and incriminating himself.
That's a possibility right there.
I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know if I would go for that. I don't know if I suspect Tony Kline. Really, I mean, I know I did when they first came out, but it's like, well, how would they not have enough to arrest him too? Even on the child porn stuff. I mean, it was in his house. I mean, did he use the devices? I'm sure he did. There was like, what, a 7 of them, at least? Different phones that he was looking at, like, stupid stuff on?
Well, and that's the other thing, is if he pleads guilty, we're not getting a trial. So,
yeah.
And then he can turn around and take part in the Delphi trial and turn evidence against Richard Allen?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking at right now.
And what's up with this river search? What's up with the river search? What did that yield? How did that happen?
Right.
You know what I mean? What was that all about? Was that about his case? Was that about the Delphi case? They said it was about the Delphi case on the news.
Yeah, they sure did.
Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're wrong on the news, but I mean, if it wasn't about the Delphi case, I'm sure, the cops should have just come out and said it's not about that, so just leave it alone. It's something else.
And my honest opinion, there is no way Tony didn't know about what Kegan was doing unless he was involved. And Tony's trying to deny everything.
Right.
Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, usually family members will cover up for other family members or something like, if they know something like that. But I don't know. Did Kathy Allen, did she know? I mean, I don't see how she couldn't have. I mean,
see, that's what everybody's been saying over the months, because you're with this man 24/7, just basically, and to hear her down the hill and you don't recognize that as being your husband, what is going on here?
He's the only guy with a blue coat like that. I haven't seen too many people wear that specific blue coat. He looks just like a sketch. She probably knows on that day. I don't know what was going on. I don't know why he was there and they weren't, or if they were at home. If he was muddy and bloody when he got home and they were there, I'm sure they were like, "What happened to you?" Nothing. Just out hiking. I mean, did he go home by himself? Like what happened after that? That's what I want to know. I think that'll tell more of the story if we find out what happened after the crime, where Richard went. Where did Richard go? Did he go straight home? Did he go somewhere else? That'll be telling.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure why
Harris says KK will be a witness in Delphi. Could be. He could have been on the witness list all the time.
I think he's going to be a suspect
in witness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
if
I think
he
he's going to be charged with
Delphi. It's going to be a lesser charge than murder.
And true crime.
Yeah, it'll probably be assisting a criminal.
Or an accessory after the fact.
Yeah, basically same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. True Crime Housewife says, that's my guess. This has something to do with the witness list and his dad. There's someone that he doesn't want heard from in court. So now he wants to plead out. Good statement.
Yep. Where you at on this list? You're way up there.
Kegan Kline, former cellmate, once went to the feds when he was released. A few weeks later, Richard Allen was arrested.
I know, isn't that weird? And then some of his charges were dismissed. 5 of them, based on insufficient evidence, is what's said. But
yeah, they couldn't prove that. They couldn't prove.
Too coincidental.
Yeah.
I think it's too coincidental. I think that the dude went out there and took him there, and they found something that led him to Richard Allen, and they said, all right, dude, we're going to drop 5 of these charges, but we can't drop all these because these are some pretty serious allegations here.
Right.
Well, and Sleuthy says, I think the Wabash search led to a phone. It led to something because Doug Carter landed his helicopter there that one day before the finish, and he wouldn't have done that unless they found something.
Right. Yeah, they definitely found something. Okay, I don't know what it was. I was thinking maybe it was a weapon or something, like a knife or something that was thrown in there. I mean, that would have made sense to me.
They found a broken phone.
How do we know that, though? I think everyone's just kind of speculating that, right? Because nobody really knows. You know?
Dad knows a lot. And I can't elaborate why we're live, because it's a promise between us that we can't give out information like that, but she knows what's going on. She keeps us informed of everything on her end.
Yeah.
What else we got up here?
So Vanessa is saying Kathy was out of town. She was with a sick relative, supposedly.
Yeah, from what I understand, she was looking after one of her sick parents in Peru.
His wife was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slew
Has
says
anyone
they will
talked
give him somewhat of a break for providing key evidence info. And I think that's already happened because they've dropped charges twice on him now.
Yep.
Oh, I just saw
and what I don't get is, how can you say there's insufficient evidence when the guy admitted to doing it? How is that insufficient? Right. He admitted to do it. What's up, Melissa, everybody? How you doing, everybody that said hi to me? Sorry. I'm still not used to getting into the chat thing and talking back to people. I almost forgot I had a video edit. I'm like, which button does what now here?
Do we all three agree that we think a plea deal is in the works, though?
Yeah.
I'm positive it would be, I would say.
Yeah, I would have to say yes. Yeah.
That's my thing, my thought on it.
Slew
or
says,
if it's not a written agreement.
Yeah. Slew says, I'm speculating, not sure a weapon would lead to Allen unless it confirms something Kegan was saying. I think a phone may contain info tying Ari to the crime. That could very well be.
It could have, but what made them see? They also said that they went back over a tip, and that's what led them to go look at his house. Who knows? We never really know what they're gonna. However, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're never all the way true.
See, I mean, the way LE's putting information out there, I think they're just leading us down one way so they can look at other things. You know what I'm saying? And I don't. When it comes to Delphi LE, I don't trust them right now. I don't, because of certain things taking place. Really. Well, I mean, prime example, they arrest him a week prior to the election. And me and you've had
I know, man. Trust me. Trust me. I was sitting there telling them that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the area I was telling them. It's kind of odd. I said,
they're trying to make Tony Liggett look good here for the election. Was what it seemed like to me.
It's the good old boy system, man. That's the good old boy system. And you know what? I had said that. Me and Michael Catt had said that exact same thing, but I put someone different in the place of Tony Liggett. I actually said, hey, man, the next person that's probably going to be sheriff in Carroll County would be Mike Thomas, because he's the next in line. He's the major. He's held it for like a bunch of years. He's going to be the next person to become sheriff. Well, when they had that falling out over the Delphi case, over asking experts and stuff, then Tobe was like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and move this guy up. We're going to demote you since you lost in the primary. We're going to promote you. And then Tony's like, okay, when I become the sheriff, I'm going to make you my right-hand man, Tobe. And so I think this is what it is we were talking like before, and I thought it may have happened before when Tobe was running for re-election. Like right before the re-election, there's an arrest, and he looks like the hero sheriff. And everybody is like, yes, the hero sheriff solves the Delphi case, and Tobe moves on to work for the FBI or whatever it is. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird how it worked.
Yep. Let's see what we got going on here. Going back to Lakeside. Going back to R.A.'s wife, it seems strange that her Facebook was so quiet after the murders. Most people in the area posted the girl's pictures and BG on blast, but she did not. That is a good statement.
She may have known. I mean, yeah, we don't know if she knew, but I mean, I guess I got to go back and look at the BTK. BTK killer, Dennis Rader, he ended in with everybody. Okay, he had a family at home and stuff like that. Now, when he was arrested, I guess the detective went to his daughter's house, or went to the house, and his daughter was there. And as soon as she opened up the door, he told her, he said, "Your dad is BTK." And she said, specifically, she said, "I thought, well, he couldn't be." And she said, and she was trying to think of ways to alibi him, to be like, no, it can't be him because, you know, he was here or he was at church or something like that. And a lot of people will do that for people that they know or trust, you know, is like, well, no, I don't think, you know, I'm pretty sure that person was here, you know, and if someone's corroborating their story like that and cops can't prove that they're lying, that's a way, you know, that's almost like getting a false alibi, like Logan asked for.
Mm-hmm. So what's your take on the angle with Ron Logan and allegedly his GPS coordinates at the crime scene and things in that nature?
Man, I don't know about that. Okay, I don't see Ron Logan walking around out there in the woods in the middle of the night. You know, I just don't see it. I've met the dude. I've been to his house. I've been on his property with and without permission. I don't see him just trampling around out there for just because. I think that if they were able to find anything that would link him, he would have been arrested right off the rip. You know, not. And they thought maybe right at the beginning because he lied about where he was supposed to be and stuff like that, all because he was hiding his probation stuff.
Right.
It makes sense to me on why he lied. You know, he didn't want to tell him the truth. Oh, I was over here drinking and driving around, man. That's what I was doing. On probation, and you're not supposed to be doing that?
I mean, see, the bad thing about it is they knew he was driving around and wasn't doing nothing about it. They knew he was driving.
I know.
I mean...
Yeah, they knew what he's driving. They knew that white truck. They had already impounded it once.
So, who's the new major? Do you know?
Tobe.
Tobe is?
Lesenby the major. Yeah. Tobe Lesenby is they just switched spots.
Oh,
yeah. Now Tobe was the major for a long time under another sheriff, and then now Tobe, he was the sheriff. Now he's the major. So Tobe is like the sheriff's right-hand man until he figures out what he's going to do in the future, but he'll probably be here until the end of the case.
Sleuth says, I think it is different with BG because we had his voice in his video. BTK was not caught on video or tape. This is, to me, makes RA's wife seem complicit possibly.
Oh yeah, well, the videotape, yeah, is pretty compelling. You know how you're always sitting there, when I sit there and stared at that picture of that guy, I was telling someone that, I said, I have looked at that picture of Bridge guy for a long time, man. There was days that I just sat there, man, and was just like looking at it, you know, like thinking like, man, what is that? Is that hair? Is that a hat? Is that a fanny pack? Is that a shirt tail? You know, what's this? And what can I see his face? Everybody's trying to enhance everything, you know, and it's like, you just can't do it. You know, it's like so many pictures came out. And then to finally see that guy is like, okay, if I knew him and he hung out with me and he wore that blue coat around and stuff like that, I would have known that was him. I would have been like, man, it looks an awful lot like dude. You know, he's got the same blue coat. He's got a goatee. Tip him in. You know.
All right. So why don't
So-
you just do a recap, Frank, for those that just got here as to what is happening with Kegan Kline?
Kegan Kline's attorney filed a motion today with the Miami County courts requesting to cancel all court hearings, pretrial hearings, and he's planning to change his plea. And the prosecutor responded, said that we are in the works of a change of plea, but that he asked the courts not to drop the court dates that are in place at this time until we know that he's going to plea is going to be filed. And then,
Right.
like I said, Anthony got with me today, and he got a hold of Kegan Kline's attorney, and the judge had already ruled on the matter, and he got a copy of the ruling from KK's attorney, and we presented it up there. And so on, what is it, March 20th? March 20th.
30th.
30th, they're going back to court to have a plea hearing. So
we don't know if he's changing his
gonna plead guilty
or no contest.
He's going to plead guilty. No, I think he'll plead guilty. I think he'll plead guilty and have to say that he did do that, you know, which is going to be like horribly embarrassing for him. You know, did you or did you not on the date of this, you know, solicit nude images from a minor of the age of 12, you know?
Right.
Did you do that? He's going to have to say, yes, I did. You know, he's going to have to give an explanation as to why he did that, which is weird because those factual basis, that part of the hearing is a really intense part, because that's when you actually learn about everything that they did, is when they establish a factual basis, determining the facts of why they're pleading guilty. They have to prove, if they're pleading guilty, that they actually are guilty, you know.
Here we go. Sleuth is saying, not to mention the conservation officer he told. He was wearing a blue jacket and was at the bridge the time the girls went missing. Forget the wife being complicit. What about this officer?
What do you mean?
Which he's got the conservation officer, when they had the last presser, it was awful funny that they were basically saying that they misfiled Richard Allen's statement.
The conservation officer, yeah.
Yeah. And then he wanted to wait until now, when Richard Allen didn't say anything until Richard Allen got arrested. No one knew about this guy. And why didn't he go to them prior to that and say, hey, did you guys even look at the information that I turned over to you guys?
Yeah, I would have been, if it was me, man, and I was that cop, I'd have been like, hey, man, listen, I interviewed a dude who said he was there at that same time, and he said he was dressed like the guy that's in the video. I mean, why don't we go start there? I mean, it seems pretty obvious. The guy who said he was there that looks just like the suspect and parked where we think that the suspect parked.
Right.
I mean, I think there was just too many cops coming around, and everybody was interviewing everybody, and nobody really was able to compile those tips into a nice, organized fashion. They lost it. They lost it. This case wouldn't be anything that it is now if it would have been over with real quick. Everybody would have been like, wow, that's crazy, you know? She caught him on video, but it would have been over, you know? But I have to say, I guess it's some good things came out of waiting all this time. I've met thousands of people that, you know, good relationships with people. And, you know, I met you through the memorial walk. I remember, you know, it's just like you meet a lot of good people when you're doing this. And because of this incident, a lot of cool people have linked up with each other.
Yes.
Yes.
Amy Pam says, at Frank Meister, is no contest the same as an Alford plea?
No, completely different.
You think so? Alford plea is admitting that you're. I think the Alford plea is admitting that they have enough evidence to convict you at a trial, but you maintain your innocence.
Yes.
Right. No contest is you're not saying that you're guilty or innocent.
Right.
See, it's okay, so I'm neither one of them, so let's go ahead and sentence me. That don't make no sense. I don't know why they do that.
I don't know. I mean, if you look back on the Memphis 3 case, they sat in jail for years on death row, and they found evidence allegedly that the guys didn't do it. So they go back to court and they end up taking Alfred pleas in that case to get out of jail. So they're not saying they did it and they're not saying they did it. They just went ahead and took the Alfred plea and time served. Is basically what happened in that case. Which I'm afraid if they was to do the Alfred plea on Kegan, he'd be walking. And I'd be like, oh no, here we go. You're going to get this dude killed if you let him out.
Kline?
Yeah.
You think so? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think once he goes to prison, they're going to have him in protective custody the whole time because they know with his name being out in the public all over the world all these years, somebody's going to try to kill him because of the situation that he's in and what he's done.
Yeah, well, I mean...
So, yeah, hybrid, you're right. Alfred means you accept that the evidence against you is overwhelming without saying you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That they could convict you at a trial by looking at the evidence. But you're still maintaining that you're innocent, but they do have enough evidence to probably convict you.
Right.
It's weird. It's a weird thing.
There's two men texting Libby. Did Kegan say who other men is that was speaking different in the transcript? We don't know. Who knows with what he's been talking to them about now? We don't know what the deal is with that, but
there's probably a lot of stuff that we don't know, really.
Right. Slew says, we see in the Murdaugh case how people with knowledge of how the justice system works can get ahead of things and change the narrative. Exactly.
Yes. That is exactly how things can happen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like people can change these things up.
See, Angela says conservation officer. She says, I just call him a CO. Well, you got to understand, correctional officers use the same initials.
Right.
Well, let me see here. Did Kegan ever mention anything about Richard Allen before he got arrested?
No.
Anything at all? Did he mention nothing about anybody?
No.
Okay.
Not at
No,
all.
he did not talk about anybody. As far as we know, he did not name anyone. But like I said, with all these talks and stuff happening behind the scenes, we're not getting that information. He may have well told law enforcement names now.
The only person he really ever mentioned was in the transcript was possibly his dad having access to the phones or some friends he would let use the phones. That's all he would ever say. He would never come out and say anybody's names at all. So
he's that like smart. You know what I mean? Like, is he that smart? Is he just look dumb, or is he that smart?
You read through those transcripts, man. The dude's pretty intelligent, if you ask me, because he knew he knew exactly what they were trying to do, and he was flipping script on them left and right.
I know, dude. Well, he was like, he played him off.
Yeah, he did. He played him.
You got to remember too that in this world, he may not have known Richard Allen's real name, like Honeybee says. He may have just used a handle and knew him by a handle.
Right. Or an alias or
right.
You're right. He could have went by just an alias.
And somebody said about Friend One. We all knew who Friend One, and there's a reason why he didn't bring the name up.
Yes, Digital. Right now, what they're doing is, so they're keeping the trial on the books. But instead of having the trial, they're going to do a change of plea. Once he pleads guilty or whatever, then they're going to take the trial off the books.
And then they'll go through the sentencing phase of everything. And I have a feeling once the Richard Allen's bond hearing, they're going to keep continuing.
Yeah. When did RA come forward and confirm he's at the bridge and in both the video and audio? He never confirmed that he is in the video. What he did confirm a couple days after the murder is that he was at the bridge at the same time the girls were murdered.
And wearing about the same thing the guy on the bridge was wearing.
Clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't leave till 3 to 3:30, he said, right?
Right. Yeah. He said he went and sat on the bench on the trail until about 3:30. And then I started thinking to myself, well, if that's the case, how come flannel shirt guy didn't see you? DG didn't see you? Any of those people didn't see you sit at that bench. Right.
Nobody saw him. Exactly. You know, that's the thing. And it's like, okay, did the flannel shirt guy see him? I don't think so. How did someone see him on the road and someone see him on the trail at the same time? That didn't happen. You know what I mean?
No.
So it makes me question that. Like, you know, I really want to talk to Dave again and be like, hey, are you sure, man, that's the dude you saw? You know, like maybe it was someone else. And if there was someone else, who would have been out there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Who would have been out there with
him?
Well,
Sleuth says U.S. Marshals being present and not the FBI at the latest presser, to me, says LE knew the arrest of Richard Allen would trigger other POIs to run, and most likely they did.
I got a feeling they're on a trail of somebody else and they're just not saying anything right now. Because I honestly don't think Richard Allen did this whole thing by himself. Honestly,
Freckle Joy, I agree with you. Richard Allen is using aliases or handles or something because he is not on Facebook or social media a whole lot.
I haven't even seen him on there once.
Have you seen has he ever had a Facebook page or anything? Has anybody been able to find any of that?
No.
No. Nothing.
Someone says he has one on Pinterest. Is Freckle Joy?
Yes,
Pinterest, yes.
Yes, he was portraying a female.
But I saw his.
Huh? He was.
I think I saw his actual name. He was using his daughter's logins a lot.
Yep.
Makes sense if he's a child predator. You know, that would make sense that he would do that if he's a child predator. He wants to see who his daughter's friends are. You know, he wants to see the girls that go to school there.
There you go.
Okay. That's KK's girlfriend was in a recent chat. She said real killer is one using Hannah's account.
And isn't that the girl on the pin crest? His name was Hannah?
What do you mean, girlfriend?
I don't remember.
Dude's got a girlfriend?
Yeah, he was living with her when he got arrested. In Lafayette, wasn't it? Wasn't she living in Lafayette?
Digital or Sleuth has a good point. IP address could have been what led to RA. If they found a phone in the Wabash.
You're right. But why get rid of that specific phone, though? Because he had a phone.
Burner
yeah,
phone.
But Richard had a phone, and he said he had it there with him that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I don't get.
Deb says digital, the Hannah Rostel account.
I believe that's the Pincrest account.
That's weird, man.
There's just a lot of weird stuff going on, and we're trying to tie it together.
Right.
Danger Dave says they didn't find anything in the Wabash. Sorry, Danger Dave, but I have to disagree on that. Because everything started going in motion with Richard Allen within 2 weeks after they stopped the search.
Yep. Yeah, you don't just look, and you don't just go get an inmate out of jail and say, hey, take us somewhere and show us where it's at. You know, and he takes them to this bridge and says, here. You know what I mean? So they don't do that too often. Take an inmate out of jail to go have him show something unless it's a murder investigation or something like that. You know, we're going to take you out. You're going to show us where the body is, blah, 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 and go from there. It was apparently that important to police to have him do that because I don't know. There was something that they really needed, and they had been talking about that. And he's like, well, I could probably take you to it where we threw it or whatever. But then again, who threw it? Was it him?
Yeah.
Was it Richard Allen? Did Richard Allen go there? Or
yeah. Sleuth says Hannah account was on the Kick and was very similar to the Emily Ann account.
Okay. Good to know, Sleuth. Thanks for that,
there's
bro.
so many platforms. There's so many different social media platforms that these people are on. It's like, I'd never even heard of some of these things.
And like Hybrid says, there are no coincidences.
And LE will tell you the same thing. They do not believe in coincidences.
Green River Killer is a good example of Ellie taking an inmate to help search. Yep. And Stephanie brings up good point. Right after the river search, they dropped some of KK's charges.
Yeah, and they arrested Richard Allen.
5 of them. Yep.
Seems pretty coincidental to me, doesn't it? You know, like
yeah.
I don't know. I was like, okay, it's guaranteed, man. I see the arrest of Richard Allen on TV. Next thing you know, the next day I'm seeing Kline's charges. 5 of them dismissed and some of them altered. And I'm like, yeah, that dude definitely told on him. But maybe he didn't. I don't know. I put out a video the other day and said, where is the connection? That was my biggest question. Was I put out a Kline update. I think I sent it to Frank.
Yeah.
What is the connection between him and Richard Allen? I just don't see why it's that. But if there's no connection, why did they make such a big deal about him?
But like I said, they may not have known the connection because he was using aliases or handles.
Right. Then I guess that's the biggest thing is how do we figure out if there was a contact between them?
Right.
And
Rucker says KK could snitch from his cell. There's a reason they took him out. That's high risk and responsibility for law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. And look what JoJo says here. Makes sense. I had called in on Sleuth to say Rick was same age as Emily Ann, 45, was claiming. And he would have been 45 at that time.
Exactly, and that makes sense, doesn't it? Now, the question is, why the Emily Ann name? I always thought, was that someone's name that he knew?
Well, we know that Kegan Kline had his dad, Tony, had his nephew's daughter was named Emily Ann. We know that much.
Right.
Does Richard Allen have a relative with the same name?
Or the Hannah name.
Yeah. And also found out.
I don't know, man. This is all confusing. So much has happened since I had been gone. I don't know.
Well, and this
what's
is
true
the big
and what's
thing. Anthony, this is the big thing. In KK's interview transcript, they specifically said, we know you're not the only one using the Anthony Schatz account because they could detect 2 completely different writing styles.
Yeah, I did see that. And they're good at that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is who is the other person?
Right.
Was it Tony? Was it his dad? And if so, but why wouldn't they arrest him by now? You know,
I don't think they have any evidence against him.
I mean, you got a witness, you got someone. Look, I've seen people get arrested for just less things, just someone saying something. So for him to be like, "Hey,"
but when it comes to Tony, everything is on Kegan's phones. Kegan's this, Kegan's that. They can't specifically tie Tony into it. And now Tony's giving evidence against Kegan. So what is he actually saying?
And who was actually logged in at the North Country Club Road Wi-Fi?
Right.
Who was actually logged into it? Because if you read the transcripts, they said that somebody was at that home logged in and was under the Anthony Schatz account logged into that Wi-Fi. So who was there?
Kennedy says KK had another continuance around the same time as the river search. Aki, or whatever his name is, said they were still negotiating. Aki.
Still negotiating. Yeah, I'm going to check my email and see if I got one from Aki.
But yet again, there's no negotiations going on according to the documents we showed in the beginning.
Like we said before. Like we said before, they'll give you very little information so they can work on stuff behind the scenes.
What if he has a split personality? You know, that was brought to my attention too. What if he has a split? What if he's like two different people in the same? You know what I mean? Same body. Because there's some people out there that are like that.
Yes,
you know, like
is.
but like some of them are masterminds. You know what I mean? Some people are really smart like that. It's like they may look stupid and act stupid, but the fact of reality is they're kind of one step ahead of everybody.
Well, and Sleuth says the killer could be the other person who recruited Richard Allen to film the murders. The killer returns the device to Kline at Marathon. Kline removes the media and ditches the phone in the Wabash.
I don't think Kline's got enough money to go buying snuff films. You know what I mean? What's he got to offer?
He might have had it set up to where he can make money off of it.
They went to Vegas a lot.
And you got to remember, Friend One's got that photography studio there in Vegas. It's called Sin City Photography. And I went to his Facebook page and looked at it. And I mean, this might as well be X-rated photos here that he's put up on Facebook. So it just made me think, is this guy into some weird stuff too, or what?
It seems like all those people over there are. I mean, it's like giving me a new look at Peru and all that, those places over there. It's like, whoa, man. Like, what's going on over there? There's something weird going on over there. You know, Peru and Kokomo, something's up with that. Like, just the way all these pedophiles seem to be linking to that same area.
Yeah, exactly. Like Rippey, James Rippey. Lisa shots his James Rippey, Calista shots his daughter's baby daddy. He got arrested last February on federal child pornography charges.
Jeez, man.
On his own child. On his own child.
Sounds pretty crazy, dude. You know what?
Yeah.
We've seen it happen with a few people in this case. You know, Daniel Nations was one of those people. Yeah. It happened to him from his dad. Other people in this case. I mean, Chadwell went through some issues.
Sandifer.
And you know what, man? It's almost like I was almost positive that this was a sex crime. That there was probably we were gonna find out about information about, you know, stuff that the killer did to girls, but he's not charged with any sex crimes, and I don't understand that. Like, did he sexually assault them? If not, why are we hearing that there was clothes missing and things like that, and things were taken as souvenirs or trophies? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. You know, I'm thinking that how the crime originally went down, there was 3 options, I think, when we got down to the creek. You know, the abduction happened. I think we all knew pretty much there was a gun involved somehow. Mm-hmm. We were right about that. They go down the hill, they go down the second hill, and then they end up on the other side of the creek. Now, at first, law enforcement says that they were killed in the area that the bodies were found. But what makes me question that being true is them saying that the bodies were staged. Also, that a shoe was found on the bridge side of the creek on Kay Weber's property.
Right.
And then there's clothing in the creek. We don't know what kind of clothing, but there's clothing in the creek, and they were found on the other side. So that makes me think, okay, the fight started on this side of the creek and ended on the other side of the creek, or in the water, and he had to get them to the other side so no one from that private drive would be able to see them.
Right.
That's my thought.
But see, as many times as we've been to Delphi, the first time me and Marv ever met, she went to the south side of the bridge and went down. And I'm thinking, something's not right here. Something is just not right here. Because now you got these pictures floating around with clothing in the water. And we were just like, man, that stuff looks like it was staged. Because if it was thrown in the... Yeah, we've got the photos.
You guys actually got the real pictures?
We don't know if they're real or not. That's the reason. That's why we have never put them up on our show.
Right.
So we don't want to put stuff out there if we don't know if they're legit or not.
Yeah, I know. I had someone actually send me pictures and said, this is the crime scene, and showed me some stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm not buying that. You know, I'm not totally believing that that's the crime scene itself. And if so, how did you get pictures of that? You know what I mean? Like, that's a good way to get tipped in real quick. If you start showing me pictures of stuff saying it's a crime scene and you're not law enforcement. You know what I mean?
Hey, Julie, nice to see you. Long time no see.
I see everybody in here. Let's see.
Julie's in here.
Well, that's good. So, do you guys think that he filmed this? Is that what this is all about? You guys think he filmed it? He spent time with the body.
There's rumors that there's photographs and there's video.
I mean, if you go back to
nobody can find it.
Where Garrett Kurtz was on Open Secrets, he even said that there was a film out there.
Yeah.
It's so weird, man. Like, I guess I never would have thought that like stuff like that would be happening. You know, it's a little bit too out there.
It's a multi-million-dollar business, man. The black market.
Oh yeah. Look at that yellow app. Yubo. Nasty.
I never looked at it. I've never seen it. What is it? I mean, I've never.
People pay to watch videos like that.
They
actually put requests in.
Yeah, it's
what they want to see.
It's a social media that was created by a guy out of France.
Okay, and people
can actually put requests in.
Yeah.
And then
have you filmed?
Sorry.
Have you filmed something or put requests in for you to do anything?
They request to see somebody being murdered, and they pay a certain amount of money, and they'll be able to watch an actual murder take place. It's crazy. I mean, just like the case up in Alaska. That guy paid that girl, whatever it was, to kill people and film it, and he was going to pay her for it. Mm-hmm. I believe that's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
That's why the probable cause affidavit looked for film and video, because there's been rumors out here all this time that exists.
And it even says in the Ron Logan search warrant about it.
It does. I'm just reading that. Yeah. It does say that.
Yeah.
They're looking for what?
Yeah.
They believe
they're looking for footage of
pictures or video.
Yep. They sure did.
Man, dude. Okay, that really changes a lot for like my thought process is like, okay, because they were talking about signatures and they were talking about things where they stay with the body after they're dead. Stuff happened.
And Anthony, if you go back and listen to Ives' statement that he made, he says there was something. Ives said it was something someone would take pictures of and then backtracked.
It makes you wonder how they were posed. We've heard different stories. We don't know. It makes you wonder if they were posed in a manner that someone would want to take pictures and send it to someone else. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think Ives excused himself and resigned because he didn't want no part of this case. Because he knew something was off with it.
Well, and Andy Pam says we learned from the FBI warrant they were looking for recording equipment.
What did Sleuth say?
I'm going to read that warrant right now, actually. I've got it pulled up.
Yeah, the FBI profiled the crime as one that could have been memorialized.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like, what happened to Thomas Bruce? Thomas Bruce was never on my radar. Yeah, I would never say Thomas Bruce. I would never pick him. I mean, it was kind of a good quality at the beginning with the blue coat and, committed a crime like that. After it, we knew that the suspect had never been arrested before in Delphi, based on Kim Riley's statement. We've known that since the 1-year press conference. So I wouldn't think Thomas Bruce would ever. There was no way to link him to Indiana, to being here.
Yeah,
nuts over a dog.
You have to be able to do that in order to say someone committed a crime. You can't link people. You can say that looks like he may have committed that crime, but if you can't prove that they were there, you can't link them there somehow. It's probably not happening.
So what Frank and I talked about is how all this information's come out now, and we've got these affidavits and stuff. We almost need to go back to the beginning, rewatch all of the news broadcasts and interviews with the knowledge we have now in mind. Go back to the beginning and try to put the pieces together again.
I know. Actually, I'm recreating that Delphi documentary thing, changing it up with the new, timeline based on the probable cause and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like going over all those
Because-
news articles, because I was watching the video. It's got a bunch of news articles in it from then, kind of in sequence.
And
from
the thing is, we've always heard that they were dropped off at 1:35.
and it's
Now
not
all
the
of a
case.
Yeah,
sudden
and
it
it shows
changes
the vehicle
to
being at
1:49.
Yeah.
What the heck's up with that?
Which is weird. Because the lady that parked there, she parked at the same spot, okay, where they were dropped off at. And she went down to the bridge and then back, and she was only parked. She said she got there at she was seen on the video coming into the parking spot at the mirrors, right across from the mirrors, at 1:46. So in 3 minutes, they showed up. Or it was probably less than that, because that's actually when you see Kelsey's car leaving after dropping them off. So
That's
did
how
Abby
they-
and Libby and that lady not see each other? That lady must have got out and just went straight down there really fast. You know what I
Ruckus
mean?
brings up a good point to your question. Maybe
Where's
they
he
were
at?
posed per request.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe they were posed in a sexual manner or something like that, and then pictures were taken of them like that. Because I have heard that before. I've heard a bunch of different things. I've heard Abby was sitting up like a doll, and one of them had their hands crossed. And I've heard all sorts of weird stuff. I just don't take it all into oh, that's true, because chances are a lot of this stuff's not.
Wear hearing aids, and it's not good. I mean, this bothers me wearing these earbuds.
At Ruckus Rocks podcast, if this is a snuff scenario, the killers would be fulfilling a customer's checklist of what he wants and what he will be willing to be paid for. Maybe even watching it live, hence Yubo app. Maybe.
Yeah, the timeline's off a few minutes. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be. There's no way that lady was down there, and because if she got there at that time, and they showed up 3 minutes later, then how did she pass them on her way back to her car halfway through?
Right.
It's kind of an awful long walk. We've all walked that from the mirrors to the bridge.
Yeah.
That's not quick. I mean, it can be quicker, but it's not that quick. You walk down there, you see a guy standing on the platform, you stand there for a couple of minutes, and you just leave. I mean, that's typically what most people do.
Mm-hmm.
She passes them, and they're headed towards him. And then we see a Snapchat photograph, and then he's not there. So where did he go? Did he walk back up the trail a little bit and kind of see where that lady went and see who was all coming? I think that's his best option. When I did that one reenactment at the bend in the trail there, you could stand there,
right,
and you could see. Back then, the trail looked a lot different. It had an orange barricade, and there was a big tree, so you couldn't just look straight across that. There wasn't all this paved stuff, and it was thinner. So I think that he could have stood right there, seen them, maybe passed them as they were getting on the bridge. He was getting off, making it look like he was leaving, and really he was just going down to that bend in the trail a little bit, keeping an eye on them, also looking down to see where that lady's going, watch her leave, make sure no one else is coming. He knew how quick he could get across the bridge. As soon as he had that opportunity, when they were on the other side and no one was coming, he hustled across there and got him.
That's why I don't believe this scenario. He said he was watching his stock ticker. I think he was following the girls on one of the social media apps.
He could have been following them.
Mm-hmm.
Or the witness never passed the girls.
I don't know. They're banking pretty hard on that one. That's the only witness that saw them going to him. You know what I mean? I think that.
Ruckus is absolutely right. Getting the timeline right is very important. A lot can happen in 3 minutes.
That's my wife.
Do what? I missed it. Sorry, I was talking to somebody.
He said that.
What did he say?
He said getting the timeline correct is essential. And he said, just ask my wife. 3 minutes is a big difference.
That's funny, man.
And
Man, I gotta do
Sleuth
something with
brings
the
up a
light.
good point. Going back to this Kegan Kline, why did you log in and then log out? Why did you log out and then log back in?
From another phone.
From another phone. So they know two people
so weird.
were using that account.
I mean,
At
that dude
least
was
two.
weird. He was really perverted if he was doing all that with all those devices. Like, he's got all these phones and computers for that. You know, it's like, geez, man. Like, what does this dude do for like life?
I mean, it's almost like he was trying to make it look like, how can I say this? He was trying to throw police off by logging in and out of different devices. That's what it seemed like to
I
me.
can see that.
But I wouldn't be surprised if TK is brought into this somehow or some way. Only time's going to tell.
I hope that if there is someone else involved like that, if they think that someone else is involved now, I don't necessarily think that when they say there's another bad actor in the crime, I don't necessarily think that that means there was another guy there with Richard Allen committing a murder.
Right.
I think that could mean kind of like the situation with Kline is someone lured them there. Someone got them to go there. And it looks like Kline did it. You know what I mean? I mean, just based on what we've seen, he talks to him the night before. He said he was going to go there and meet him or whatever. I don't know. It just seems really coincidental for me. You know, I don't know if it's true that he Googled this gas station. Is it true? That he Googled this Marathon gas station?
That's what they're saying in the transcript.
Do you guys know where the Marathon gas station is? The one up on the hilltop?
Yeah, it's right on Washington Street, right across the street from Riley Park.
Yeah, right up on top of the hill. You go down Riley Park, straight up the hill. It's right there. Now, that
right
gas station is
the
closest gas station to Richard Allen other than those new ones. So he wouldn't need to Google that. He wouldn't need to Google that specific gas station because there's 3 of them right there downtown Delphi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but back then, there wasn't that 3 at that time, was there?
There was at least 2 right downtown Delphi. One next to the jail, one right across the street from it. So they've been there for a long time.
Randy's still in the chat?
I'm not sure.
Randy, if you're still in the chat, give us a yeah. Because he knows what was all there and everything at the time.
They don't think Richard Allen is a killer. Well, he was charged with murder, so I mean, they do think he was the killer. You know. I mean, that's.
I tested KK's statement. I drove to his grandma's house and picked up the Wi-Fi. I then drove to the Trexler's house. I was able to pick up his Wi-Fi, but no way are the houses close enough to do both.
Oh, yeah.
Randy says, yes, he's on here.
Randy, I'm going to send the link in the chat. Come on up, man.
All right, guys, I've got to go. You, Randy, and Frank, take it away. I am on vacation, so we got things planned. But I'll check in with you later.
All right, Marv.
Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
Get with me later.
Bye.
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 Where you at, Randy?
Where'd he
go? Should be.
He's in there somewhere.
Yeah, you saw my message.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of curious about this hearing on Kline. I'd like to get a response from Aki or something, you know. I'm not getting anything from him yet.
Well, I know that the last couple hearings that he did have without continuance, he wasn't in the courtroom. They did it by Zoom. What's up, Randy?
Right now, he'll have to be here. Have to be in person. That's when. Hey, Randy. He'll have to be in there in person.
So, how many gas stations were in Delphi at the time?
Hold on. I'm gonna turn the volume down. Okay. How many gas stations at the time before these extra gas stations started showing up? You had the Marathon on top of the hill, across from Fallis's attorney office. Then you had a Shell station outside of the other side of where the hardware store is by the the U-25. Then you had a gas station by, of course, across from the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had another gas station across from Citgo gas stations on the next door to the tavern. And then the old gas station has not been in use for a while. That one got robbed so many times.
You talking about the one across from the sheriff's department that got robbed so many times? And
Yeah.
This is like, you got balls to sit there and try to rob a gas station right across from the sheriff's department.
So, yeah, those are the main, because the newer gas station, that it's not Marathon, Co-op gas station.
Co-op, the co-op.
That was put in later.
Wait, which one's the co-op?
The one before, the one on the site where the church is. So you get off the off ramp, you turn to your right. There's that gas station there.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How long has that one across from CVS been there?
That used to be, see here, it used to be Hardee's at first, Arby's.
Yeah, and then Arby's.
And then a private person who made barbecue, pork barbecue, and then
Barbecue, yep.
And then they just made that into the gas station not too long ago.
Yeah.
So that's been around.
There's a lot of questions that still needs to be answered. I know that much. Who is the other person involved besides allegedly, possibly Kegan and Richard Allen?
And there used to be a gas station across from the old fire station, but the new fire station took over the old gas station.
You talking about they're right there in the town?
Yeah, we're right across.
Yeah, right across from the city building.
Yeah. Okay.
It says, did Kelsey take the same route from her house as Richard and or Kegan? Kelsey came from the same way that Richard did. You know, she drove in the direction that he did when he parked at the trail. He came from the east heading west towards Delphi when he parked. You know what I mean? So Kelsey actually came from that same way too, but I wouldn't know about Kline.
What was the neighbor's name at tool time?
Al. His name was Al. Yeah, Al. Where'd that question come from?
What? Well, I guess there's been a shooting in Cutler, Indiana, Sunday morning.
Cutler, that's right outside of Delphi.
Yeah, that's out of Flora, in between.
Yeah, Cutler Ridge. That's the.
What about what happened? What about the story that broke today about that little boy that was kidnapped from Tell City, Indiana, and found in Kokomo in a 53-year-old man's house, and they ended up charging him for sex trafficking? Yep.
Man, there's a lot of weird stuff going on over there. I'm telling you, dude, there's something up with Kokomo
and Delphi. I mean, it's just like, man, somebody brought a good question. I mean, or point up here. I always thought Wilson's Bridge is tied into this somehow. Because the way I look at it, there is no way he's going to walk up through the cemetery and just come out of the cemetery without being seen.
Well, like I said, if he came to
Wilson Bridge is kind of far out of it.
Yeah, too far go that one. That's why he said Wilson Bridge has nothing to do with this case. The fastest way would have been the cemetery. And when that one lady says she saw the person bloody and muddy walking on 300, there are 4 other people who were waiting to search for the girls that day. You will be seeing that person walking from the cemetery that way, past the mirrors.
And see, I still have a problem with the bloody muddy lady, and I'll tell you why. Tara, Derek, Cheyenne were all around the Mears lot around 4 o'clock when allegedly this lady seen him walking up 300 toward the Harvest store. Unless it's something.
Wait, where were they at?
The Mears lot.
The drop off area where the girls were dropped off.
Right.
And they were waiting.
Yeah.
Derek and
Tara
and
Cheyenne,
and then Cheyenne already went back to her car, and they were all sitting there. So they would have saw this gentleman walking right past them from 300. You can see from the cemetery from there.
Right.
But it just can't understand why this lady said that time, but it can't be if nobody saw this. She's the only one who saw him. I think her time was off.
I think that I just have a problem with that witness. I just do.
And she got herself in trouble.
Yep. Got charged with attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, who did?
The bloody muddy witness, if it's the same person that we've all been talking about.
Yeah, she was charged. She used Ron Logan's attorney.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm behind here. What's going on now? So the lady who said she saw the muddy and bloody is a suspect in a murder?
She allegedly tried to run over her boyfriend with her car, and they charged her with attempted murder. And like 2 or 3 months later, they dropped all the charges.
He dropped them. He didn't want her charged, but she's the one who saw.
What's her name?
I can't think of her. Well, but she lives in Camden. She lives in Camden.
I believe it was Maria Robinson. I believe
Maria something, but yeah, she was one of the witness, but she's the one who saw it, but can't be if the people who were sitting in the car, Cheyenne and Derek and Tara, would have saw him at the same time.
Yeah, that just don't add up to me.
Her time is off. It was probably a different time she thinks it was, but there's no way. You can see anybody from the trails. You can see somebody walking on 300 from the trails.
There you go.
If you're on 300, you can see them walking on the trails. Back and forth. There's no place to hide.
And people keep thinking that you can hide in the wood line. Not at that time of the year. You can't. There's no foliage. Nothing.
No, you can see all the way. You can see far.
I mean, the first time I ever went, me, Randy, and all of us went down to the crime scene, went up to the cemetery, then we went out on 300. Well, support with Stefan was with us. Was she decided she wasn't going to try to go up the hill up to the cemetery and walk through. She was going to walk back through the trail back to the north end of the bridge, right? Well, while we're out on 300, I could see her plain as day walking the trail.
Yeah,
through the woods.
Yeah.
So,
and then, of course, then you tell me I scared Steph off.
She got mad at me because we left her to walk the trail. And I said, hey, that was on you. I wanted to go up to the cemetery. And what's so funny, as soon as you come out at that corner of the cemetery where the ravine is, as soon as you walk right up into the cemetery, you can see McCain's parents' gravesite. I'm like, wow.
Let's see here. Mike Duffy, it was the coroner who said she might have been still alive. Who said it? But the question is, the coroners were it's just crazy. Two brothers did two different murder cases.
And see, Julie's she's agreeing. I don't think she's credible either.
Well, they're look. I don't know. We don't think she's credible, but I mean, McClellan, the prosecutor. I mean, he's certainly banking on that because that's a big part of the evidence. You know what I mean? It's like someone saw the girls walking towards him, and he was the only person there right before the video. You know, it says that her vehicle was seen leaving at 2:14. Abby and Libby had already been abducted. That quick.
Yeah,
I mean, at 2:30, the video of him.
Both of them disappear at 2:07.
Okay, I'm going to let Anthony answer this question real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, not that one.
It doesn't add up. Frank,
not that one.
Frank,
not that one.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. You guys know so much. Tell me where Daniel Pearson went. Look, I'm going to be honest. In my opinion, I don't even think this Daniel Pearson guy exists. I've never met him. I've never heard of him. The only Daniel Pearson that I know of was the one that called in saying that weird stuff on my show that one time. And we tipped that in, and he's been in and out of mental hospitals since then. That's the only person I ever know for a fact that was named Daniel Pearson, because we sent the cops to him. And they, the sheriff confirmed that.
I remember that video you did. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like crazy, man. He said that he killed his girlfriend and all this stuff. And I called and tipped it in live.
And set her body on fire or something and buried her some crap. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah, it was a lie.
Well, his dad was
he's a liar.
DP's dad was a Carroll County sheriff, right?
No, not that one. No, that one wasn't.
Not that guy.
Not that Daniel Pearson?
No, this guy was not. So this other Daniel Pearson guy that everybody keeps talking about, who was supposedly a witness, right? I've never seen this guy. I mean, I've seen pictures of what's supposed to be him, but I've never seen that guy before. And I don't see where he's out talking to people. I mean, I just can't find that anywhere on social media.
Because the people I talked to, they got hold of me and they said he just lies like crazy. And
I know there's like
are we even sure he's real?
I know there's two Daniel Pearsons that live in Delphi.
The sheriff's son, and the other one we're talking about that lives just down the bridge, Freeman Bridge area.
Yeah, right there in the yellow apartments.
Before you
go over there where Garrett Hurst live.
I know that Daniel Pearson, the one that's father was a sheriff, lives in Camden. I know that much. In Camden.
Okay. So there is a real Daniel Pearson.
Yes. He's the one that did the video with him reenacting like a school play, and he's walking up to a bridge, and there's a girl standing there. That's the Daniel Pearson everybody's talking about. And he's even got videos out on YouTube. No, we're not talking about the meth one, Julie. I know which one you're talking about. The one at Anthony.
How many Daniel Pearsons are there out there? There's a meth Daniel Pearson. There's a what?
Carroll County Sheriff's son's a Daniel Pearson.
This sheriff. Jeez, this case is such a twist, man. It's like that's what keeps you interested in it, I guess. Is like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
right.
I'm totally blown away at all this information. Like, I'm just totally stunned at all of it. I can't decipher it all. What you think is not real is real.
Well, what are you thinking about Julian Powell?
Just a crazy dude that posted something on the internet and everybody got hyped up over about it. That's all I think about him.
Yeah, he is a wacko. Some of the videos he put out there, man, it was just like, I'll slit your effing throat. I'm like, man, are you trying to implicate yourself into Delphi by saying slicing throats and stuff? I mean, come on. Yeah. But does anybody got anything to add? Is there any questions in the chat that need to be answered? Because we are going on an hour and a half here, guys, and I'm sure that Anthony's probably got things to do. And
I got some things to do. Got to make the videos.
Yeah. You need to start sending me some of that stuff, man, so I can learn how to do all this stuff, man.
Join me, man. I'll have to show you how to do it. Yeah, I'm actually going to be starting it next week. That way you can see it and learn how to do some of the stuff. It's easier than you think.
Okay. Remember this guy, Randy?
Yeah.
You remember who I told you it was, right? You know who it is.
Yes, I know who he is. Yep.
All right, 4 pit bulls. You got to stop with this stuff with Daniel Pearson and then all these other names you're throwing out there, man. I understand you're trying to help and everything, and I understand me and Randy know who you are, okay? And we went past Daniel Pearson, the Garrett Kurtz thing. People are still hung up on that. As above, so below. He knows better than to come in my chat because he'll get blocked in a heartbeat. Let's see. Okay, Dave. Never thought of that. I theorized that because of the way Levy was left reportedly.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think we've about covered what we needed to cover today, guys. We're at an hour and a half. Appreciate Anthony, especially sending that document over to me like you did. I much appreciate it, brother. And I'll return the favor if I've got certain documents that you're looking for, and if I have them, I'll send them right to you. Randy, much appreciated coming up and explaining the gas stations. I want to thank everybody that came into the chat today. Much love to all of you. Sleuth, much appreciated, man. You coming in and getting some facts put out there that I can't keep track all the time. You're on it all the time, bro. Much appreciated. But if you guys would do me a favor on your way out, hit that thumbs up for us, man. It helps our algorithm, whatever you call that name.
Algorithm?
Yes.
Yeah. And share it to your social media platform.
Yes. Okay. But once again, want to thank everybody for coming out. Love every one of you. You know what time it is. Peace out. One love. Good night, guys.
Bye.
One love, man. Later, guys.
Later.